Hey everyone, good morning and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be putting together a worm farm for my kids. We have really gotten into fishing here in the last couple of months through, the spring and the summertime, and got to where we were spending a freaking fortune on worms every day. We fish for a lot of smaller fish, brim and bluegills, things like that. So I decided that we are going to put together this worm farm, and come the springtime, we also have chickens that we're kind of planning. And I thought, what a great way to supplement their feed, get them some protein and nutrition, have our own worm farm, and we can kind of be self-sustaining. So all I needed to do this project, we already have one worm farm up and running, and it's been doing really well. Just need a 28 quart plastic bin, and it has a fitting lid, some shredded up newspaper, your worms, which I have red wiggler worms, and I picked those up from Walmart for $2.50. Spray bottle of water, and you need some organic soil, which you can grab some from your backyard if you have really nutritious stuff. But down here in Florida, we have a lot of sandy sand, so I just picked up a bag of soil for about $5, and like I said, we already have one worm farm up and running. I used half the bag on that, and I probably won't even quite finish off this bag to do this one today. So to get started, it's really, really easy. I actually just took my container, put some shredded up paper in the bottom. That will work really good for bedding and composting material for them. And then I took my lid and drilled holes so that we'll have quite a bit of airflow in there. So first things first, I've got my paper here in the bottom, and I am just going to scoot that around a little bit. I want to leave a few peepholes here in the bottom where I can kind of see through, just to make sure that my worms are happy and they're making their way to the bottom of the bin. So I'm going to take some dirt and pour about an inch worth of dirt here in the bottom. Now, because I bought this soil from the store, it is actually already really, really wet, mostly because we've had so much rain here recently. If your soil is really dry, this is where you're going to take your spray bottle and just give it a really good mist. And I'm going to throw in just a little more dirt. And again, my soil is already pretty damp, so I don't need to go much farther than that. You can see it's pretty dark and glistening, but make sure that you have your soil wet enough where there's just a drop of water. When you kind of squeeze a handful of it, you've got just a little bit of water that comes out, just a tiny, tiny bit. Mix that around a little bit. Make sure it's nice and damp at the bottom. Alrighty, so I've got about 2 inches of dirt down in my bin at this point. I'm gonna go ahead, give it one last spray. And then we're gonna add our worms. Again, these are big red worms. They are from Walmart. They come 30 in a container. Typically, I start with 2 of these containers, but we went fishing this morning and we needed one. So I'll pick one up later this afternoon and add it. But again, I usually start with 60. And you just dump them in there and let them go on about their business. I like to give them one more little spritz right about now, cool them off some. And then for food, I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of Quaker oatmeal, a little bit of old-fashioned oats, and I'm gonna crunch up a few eggshells. and throw them on top. These are great composting worms, and you might as well feed them something, you know, you've already got that you don't have to go out and pay for. And I know I'm getting a little bit on the worms here and there, but I'm not really trying to. You don't really want to put more in there than they can eat in a few days' time. So that's it, guys. We're all done. They're going to make their way to the bottom. Keep an eye on your worm farm. If they start coming up the sides and trying to escape, that means there's something wrong. There's either too much water, or they're too hot, or they're not getting enough air. So be sure that your soil is nice and cool. You're keeping them in a cool, dark place. This is going to come inside with me actually and get put in the garage. And yeah, keep an eye on them, and they'll pretty much go on and make you a lot of worm babies. So if y'all have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and see you again soon. Y'all have a good one.